I want to introduce Michael Goldberg from Iberia Bank First Horizon. He knows commercial lending. He grew up on Miami Beach and has helped countless high net worth individuals and companies prosper. We got Michael with us today, and he's going to share a little bit about their new merger and what's going on in the lending market. Hi, Michael. It's good to see you. You look good.
Hey, good morning. Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Mike. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay, great. Can we go ahead, and I think we've got Maria and Ellie in the waiting room, and let them in a minute. Peter was having some trouble, so he's going to join me in a minute. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for, there we go.
Good morning.
Two of my team members. I want to first acknowledge everyone that's on the call and during this pandemic, and wish you and your families and anyone else who has been impacted by COVID-19, the best. We'll get through this times, and there will be good times again. I'd also like to thank the Miami Association of Realtors, Teresa, Paul, Liz, the entire board. We really enjoy our continued partnership with the association, and we are extremely proud to be the bank of the association, and we appreciate that they've given us that opportunity, and we continue to grow together. I'd like to first introduce members of my team. I've got Maria Paulson, who's a Vice President and Private Banking Relationship Manager, with me here on the Miami Beach office, and Ellie Sasson-Brill, who's an Assistant Vice President, Private Banking Relationship Manager, with me here in Miami Beach. Peter Trupia, who is a Senior Vice President and our SBA lender, who is actually with me here in my office. Unfortunately, was having technical difficulties and could not get on. He is going to speak for a minute or two, and I'll just change seats with him when I'm ready to bring him up. We've got some really exciting news. We actually closed on a merger on July 1st. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys real quick. Hopefully this will work. Okay, share screen. Okay, here we go. Make sure you guys can see this. There we go. There you go. So Iberia Bank really entered the South Florida market about 3.5 years ago by acquiring Legacy Sabadell, that a lot of you remember, and then coincidentally 6 months after that acquired Gibraltar Private Bank and Trust. So that's really how they came into the market. Iberia was a publicly traded company, about $35 billion in assets, and we closed on a merger of equals with First Horizon on July 1st. So in essence, we are First Horizon. However, because the size of the two companies together, First Horizon is actually about $40 billion in assets. It's going to take us about a year to go through the operational conversion. So we're continuing to operate under the Iberia Bank brand, a subsidiary of First Horizon Bank, until next September, when we'll go to the operational conversion, and then you'll start seeing the First Horizon signs go up. But the nice thing about it is we are actually under First Horizon. We're under all their policies, lending procedures. And as you'll see in a minute or two when I show you, there's so many synergies through these two banks. Iberia was actually started in 1887 in New Iberia, Louisiana. First Horizon was actually started as First Tennessee Bank in Memphis, Tennessee in 1864. Let me just, I got to go back here to. So the combined companies actually are over 288 years around. First Horizon actually has, I think, the third oldest bank charter in the United States. The combined companies have over 8,000 associates. You see the assets, deposits, and loans. So it's been a great transition. The South Florida region really hasn't changed much. I'll show you in a minute where their offices are and ours, and there's really not a lot of overlapping, and all of the South Florida team is still in place. This is a great map that actually shows you what I was just talking about. If you look at these dots, and we're in the Southeast, there's 460 combined banking centers between Iberia Bank and First Horizon, located across 11 states. The red dots are the dots where there are existing Iberia Bank offices, and the blue dots are where there are First Horizon offices. So you can see there's very, very little overlapping in the two banks, which really makes this merger for clients of both of the banks great, and the synergies, because it really gives them access to additional lending services in states and markets that one bank or the other wasn't in. However, we remain a local Southeast regional bank, that we have still local lending, local autonomy, local boards of directors, and it's really been going to be a great transition. So I thought that slide was important for you to see. This slide just is kind of a brief synopsis of First Horizon, founded in 1864. The nice thing is First Horizon has a lot of products and services that we did not have at Iberia Bank. There's a little synopsis here. You can see of all the different products and services. Iberia Bank had a very large residential lending operation where First Horizon didn't. And we're keeping that, which is great. And I know this is a commercial conference, but I think it's important to make sure everyone knows we are a large residential portfolio lender. Whether or not it's a $200,000 loan or a $10 million loans, we are extremely busy, as you all can probably tell with all the market and the residential sales and single family housing that's really booming down here, with people relocating here on the residential side. On the commercial side, we are still open for business, and I know some of the previous speakers addressed that, and Charles addressed a little bit of it. I think our clients really found out the value of having a bank relationship when the pandemic happened, and when the PPP program came out, the Payroll Protection Program. It was probably one of the most rewarding things that I've done as a banker and my team, to be able to deliver those PPP loans to our clients when they really needed them. We funded every single one of our clients. And as a matter of fact, then we wind up getting referrals from friends of theirs at other banks who were banking with banks, the bigger banks, that they couldn't even get a return phone call to take an application or answer a question. So, we've gotten some additional business as a result of that. And I guess it just really shows you the value of really, do you know your banker? Do you have a relationship? Do you have his cell phone number? Can you call him at 8 o'clock at night? Can you email him on the weekend and get a response? And that's really kind of the value add that we provide here. And again, we're going to do the dual branding for the next year, the Iberia Bank First Horizon. But starting next September, you'll see a lot of First Horizon signs, and we'll hit the market really strong on the First Horizon branding. With that, what I want to do is go ahead and Peter actually got on. I actually see him. He's in my conference room. Hey, Peter. Peter is Senior Vice President, our small business lender. Been in South Florida for most of his life. Very knowledgeable of the market. Great to be part of our team. And I'm just going to have Peter touch on a couple high-level kind of things, how we're looking at as far as a bank and lending. Some of the things, we kind of still have an appetite for. So I'll go ahead and I'll turn it over to Peter. Peter, thank you.
Hey, good morning. Thank you, Michael, and thank you to the Miami Association of Realtors. So I'm in the Small Business Administration, the government guaranteed lending area of Iberia Bank, now First Horizon. And I kind of wanted to touch on a few things today because it is a hot topic in the lending market. And, the previous gentleman mentioned, banks and relationship-driven lending, things like that. So I wanted to touch at where we're at now and where we see the market going today. But year over year, through the two different programs, SBA lending has increased dramatically. Through the 504 program, we're at $1.348 billion as of September, which is a little over $250 million up from the previous year. And that has a lot to do with the CARE Act and a lot of programs that are going on today. As far as rates are going, we're seeing the 25-year government portion of the debenture at 2.5%. So the reason I'm mentioning this is the rates and the environment are at historical lows. But in order to get an SBA loan or to deal with a bank, I kind of wanted to bring everyone up to speed on what you should expect and where we're seeing the market going. When you go into a transaction and you're looking to lend to a client or close your deal, your side of the transaction, there's a couple things you should be asking your client or your borrower. Did you take the Payroll Protection Program, the PPP? You want to ask that up front because every bank is going to ask that. Right now, we're going into the forgiveness portion of that program. And a lot of banks, every bank right now is uncertain on the forgiveness piece, how much will be forgiven, when it'll be forgiven. So right now, we're looking at it as a contingent liability, meaning that, we might not get repaid. Chances are we will. So when you're asking your borrower, did you take that program, or did you take EIDL, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan? You want to get the terms on that from your borrower right up front. So, what restrictions were placed on your business as a result of COVID? How did that affect your supply chain? How did it affect, did you shut down your business? These are questions, that might be touchy, but you want to ask those up front. And the bank is going to be asking those questions, regardless. So off of those questions, you can kind of get an idea, where your borrower's at, and, what the bank might think of that as a, as a liability, or, something that could strengthen or weaken the deal. We've seen a lot of businesses flourishing through this, pandemic, and a lot have shut down. Currently we're shying away from the hospitality industry. We're highly selective in different sorts, but we're seeing companies like logistics and IT, legal, your professional businesses are flourishing. So, what does that mean for the commercial real estate, business? There is a shift, but we see, a lot of retail might be shutting down. A gentleman earlier mentioned ghost kitchens, filling in those voids. But what we're seeing now is companies that have been doing well are doing better, and they're expanding. We're working on a logistics company that's adding, almost 35% increase to their footprint. IT companies are buying servers and expanding their footprints, and law firms are reconsidering, their leases. Do we need all these people in a closed environment, or can they work remotely? So it's an interesting time to be in banking. When your borrowers come in, you want to have these questions up front, because there are a lot of options when it comes to borrowing money, and the market is a little bit in a hold pattern. We're waiting to see what's going to happen with the second wave. Is it going to impact our economy, or will the economy turn a corner and continue to pick back up? So when you're meeting with clients, it's really good to just research the programs that are available, and be up to speed on these economic programs that were put in place that helped the economy, but lenders are seeing them as, what if? What could this do to the business? Did it help the business, and what are the terms with that? So just be savvy. There are options out there. Iberia Bank, First Horizon, we are a relationship-driven bank, just like most banks are, but we are looking at new business. Are we highly selective? Yes, I think everyone is right now. So why now? Why are you expanding? Why are you buying more space? And if the story's good, we're there to lend. And if for our clients, we're there to lend. I mean, we're open for business, and we're doing quite a lot of business. And if you look at the state of Florida numbers and the national numbers, SBA lending is at an all-time historical high, with rates at a historical low. So it's an interesting time to be in banking. And, I look forward to what, the future will come. So with that, I'll turn it back to Michael. Thank you for your time.
Peter, thank you. If you go ahead and share, I've got the last screen real quick. If you want to go ahead and put that up, you see all of our contact information there. If you want to take a screenshot of it, what you notice on each one of our contact information, you see our cell phone numbers on there, and that's the value add. You can reach out to us anytime you have a question for yourself or for a client, whether or not it's on a weekend or after hours. We'll always take your calls. We're all local. We know the market, and we look forward to working with you, answering your questions, and continuing this great partnership we have with the Miami Association of Realtors. Thank you so much, and have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Eli, Peter, Maria. Thank you to Iberia Bank and First Horizon for your sponsorship and for that information.